Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Wanted to have some boxing talk today. So starting off with the Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia fight for the WBC 147 welterweight title. Obviously we saw Shawn Porter defeat Danny Garcia. A very, very close bout. Just wanted to get an opportunity to get my thoughts out about that. We're going to have a little boxing roundtable today. We're going to go football heavy this weekend, but going into that, we also have Triple G in his rematch versus Canelo Alvarez as they drawed the first time. But starting off with the Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia fight from last weekend. Very, very good fight. I thought Shawn Porter did an excellent job of switching up his stances. Thought his footwork was pretty good. I thought his footwork was actually very good considering he's normally, very straightforward, straight up and down fighter, very bullish style coming forward. Everybody knows his football background. So for him to elevate himself and really go into his bag and come out with different stances. He went orthodox sometimes, he went southpaw sometimes. His activity was still high. And he also did a very good job counterpunching. Now, I know it's been a very controversial decision. I felt like Danny Garcia fought a very good fight himself. Danny Garcia is known, obviously, as a good counterpuncher. He did a terrific job of also fighting going forward. I actually thought he should have done it more. I thought he should have used tried to establish his jab a little bit more. But Danny Garcia, you could make the argument that he did land the cleaner, more effective shots. He landed some amazing shots in the clinch. He landed some amazing shots even going backwards, coming forward. As I said, he was very effective at times versus Shawn Porter. But Shawn Porter won that fight off of his work rate. There was a period in the fight where it was dead even. And the way I scored it, I felt like Shawn Porter went on a little bit of a run. Round 6, round 7, round 8. I gave all 3 of those rounds to Shawn Porter. Now, the 9th round, Danny Garcia was fantastic. And I actually thought Danny Garcia was fantastic in the 12th round to the point where Shawn Porter may or may not have been hurt. The thing is that I think Shawn Porter actually did, I believe it was the 4th round, the 4th and the 6th round. There were times where I could see him really back up Danny Garcia. And Danny Garcia, for him being a good counterpuncher, he needs to fight a little bit better going backwards. What do I mean by that? Some of the elite guys like a Canelo learned. Floyd has always been good at fighting backwards and maintaining a good defensive posture against some of these guys that are really aggressive. You saw Floyd have somewhat of the issue against like a Marcos Maidana. But some of these guys that are really, really skilled counterpunchers, and Danny Garcia, hopefully he'll learn this over his career. Because if you don't establish that, and you don't establish your jab, and you don't establish a boundary against these fighters, the way it's going to look, the perception to the judges is going to be the work rate, and you're going to lose. Now, when you're a counterpuncher, you have to understand that your work rate, the punch output, may not be the same as the guy who's coming forward aggressive. But if I'm controlling the ring, I have a good defensive posture, and I'm landing good, clean, effective shots. Not only that, but I'm making him miss. He's eating glove. He's eating my shoulder. He's not really affecting me in the body. But every time he throws, I'm able to hit pop, pop. Slide an uppercut in there. As much as Shawn Porter leaned his head in, there was a lot of. I thought Danny Garcia left a lot of meat on the bone, not taking advantage with some uppercuts. That's all nitpicking. I think he should be proud of his performance, but I think he can also watch the tape and say, you know what, that's how I could have made this fight even closer, potentially a draw, or even won the fight. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised at the result, but I did pick Danny Garcia going into this fight. I thought he would have been a little bit better countering Shawn Porter, and I didn't expect all the other things, including the footwork and the movement that Shawn Porter had, and some of the power that he brought. So very impressive performance by Shawn Porter. If I'm an Errol Spence, if I'm a Terrence Crawford, I'm not really concerned. As good as Shawn Porter performed, there's levels to this, and those two guys on another level, ultimately they will be the ones to clash in the 147-pound division. But in my opinion, that fight was a microcosm of what this division embodies and how skilled these guys are. It was a high-level fight. It was one of the best fights I've seen all year. Maybe we get something in the future to see these guys go at it again. You know, technically sound. I know some people are complaining also about the headbutts, but that's, if you've seen Shawn Porter fight before, that's always going to be a concern. Danny Garcia was well aware of that coming into the fight. I do think that, you know, everybody's putting out the memes with Steve Willis, but I do think if you're Danny Garcia, you felt a little slighted that Steve Willis got to ref this fight, because that was the perfect referee for Shawn Porter. Moving on to the Triple G Canelo Alvarez fight this weekend. For those of you who don't know, that was actually the first YouTube video I ever recorded. If you go back and look, very first YouTube video I ever made was last year. This time, Triple G Canelo won. And it was actually my post-fight reactions to that fight. And I thought I believe I agreed with the draw at the time. And I thought Canelo did a very good job of countering and fighting from his back. Now, obviously, things have changed. At the time, I was actually rooting for Canelo to win. I wanted to see some shakeup. I thought some of Triple G's opponents haven't been the best, but obviously, with all the controversy over the clenbuterol and all the nonsense and the lying, quite frankly, that has come from Canelo, it's very clear who the bad guy is at this point, which is better to sell tickets, in my opinion, but Triple G's getting up there in age. I believe he's 36, almost 37 years old now. One of the things I always thought was Canelo was going to kind of wait this thing out against him. Now, Canelo's had his own demons and battles to fight. He's kind of in a no-lose situation. If he wins the fight, the questions will still linger. What's in his system? What did, you know, whether Golden Boy has an influence of that, what have you. If he loses, everybody, you know, says, look, this is... You didn't have the juice in your system, and look at the results. So if you're a Canelo fan, it is what it is. You just hope that your guy comes in, establishes honestly a very similar game plan. If I'm Canelo, very similar game plan to how you fought him the first time. You just have to have that activity increase a little bit. Going back to what I was talking about with Danny Garcia, if you're going to fight from your back. Now, Canelo's better at fighting from his back and fighting from the ropes, but he cannot allow Triple G to establish the pace and just completely outwork and bulldoze him. You thought Triple G was determined this fight, or the first fight. You're going to see a pit bull tomorrow night. And, you know, Canelo's shown a very good chin. I haven't seen him hurt too much in his career. This is a different level. I believe Triple G will get it done. Do I think Triple G is going to stop Canelo? I think that's the big question. I think that's the thing that a lot of people are curious about. Obviously, the trash talk is, you know, Triple G trying to punish Canelo for his sins. We'll see. I do think Triple G wins this fight. I think he won't leave any question, any doubt. I think he will put a lot of pressure on trying to cut the ring off on Canelo. And I think he's even going to eat some shots. As great as Canelo is countering, I think he's so determined he'll eat some shots. Triple G himself has a great chin. And I think he'll win by decision. I don't think he'll stop Canelo. He may put him on the canvas once, similar to what he did against Jacobs. But I do think at the end of the fight, Triple G will be victorious, avenge the draw, the stain, if it is one at this point, on his nearly perfect record. So that's my thoughts. I'll have another video just giving my reaction to the end of that fight. I expect a great fight as a boxing fan. You know, these next 3 weeks are heavy. This month of September has been heavy. Obviously, we had Shawn Porter last weekend, which was great. This Triple G Canelo fight actually has a lot to live up to that Shawn Porter fight. If we can get that again, in terms of that level of fight, you know, we'll be very blessed as boxing fans. And then next week, we obviously have Anthony Joshua taking the stage. So a lot to go into and discuss within the boxing community. But just wanted to get my thoughts out there. Y'all let me know in the comments who you think will win tomorrow night. what your thoughts were with the Shawn Porter Danny Garcia fight. I know there's a lot of discussion weighing in, you know, slugger versus boxer. We all have preferences. So y'all let me know. Appreciate it as always. We're almost to 1,500 subscribers. Like I said, my first video on this channel was a boxing video. I know I'm a big football fan. I've gone football heavy, but, you know, my love for boxing will always be there. So appreciate you guys.